As I got another rhyme, another rhythm for y'all to listen. I'm never quitting on my mission. I'm gonna roll with what I'm giving. Got some ambition, this new edition, filling positions. Looking at the void in myself and feeling what's missing. Better watch the way you going, better go in the right direction. In the moment you stressing, but you gon' be counting blessings. And I know that for certain. Keep on working, open curtains. Haters swerving, cause they ain't ready for your final version. Whoa. I'm never gonna give up. Fall down, I just gotta get up, yeah. Cause this is my road. Lights, camera, action, I'm ready to go. I'm never gonna give up. Fall down, I just gotta get up, yeah. Yeah, this is my road. Lights, camera, action, I'm ready to go. Way too long, we faced them storms. Now you gon' face the door.
You're listening to the Tom Ficklin Show on WNHH LP 103.5 FM, your home for community radio.
Good morning, everyone. Eric Ray and Enola Aird are with me this morning, and I brought in two kind of anchors to kind of provide some stabilization for me, because it's dawned on me as I kind of approach my, or really embrace my 69th solar return, and will approach 70 next year, that, you know, it's good to have support and anchors and backups, and just, we can't do things alone. And there are a lot of metaphors and proverbs and wisdom text about the support and unity that we need to kind of really get survive on this planet today in 2018, or in 1918, or 1618, or 1620. And we're going to talk a little bit about this North American sojourn in terms of emotional emancipation circles, in terms of community healing network, in terms of the Enola, the truth and
define the line, embrace
define the line, embrace. But the tour that's coming up it's
the Global Truth Campaign and Tour.
The Global Truth Campaign and Tour. So we're going to chat about not only the North American experience, but what does this sojourn mean about people of color on the planet, really from forever, and hopefully what does the next future mean in terms of Afrocentrism, our existence, our planet, our species, our definition. Eric is also joining me because I was mentioning before we went on air that I need some support these days, and so I have Eric Ray with me, and he's going to share a few wisdom points about why he is here and why I've kind of twisted his arm, and why he will be back. And Enola, we also have a call-in. Who's on the...
Yeah, Kamal Kitwana, who is a member of the Community Healing Network Board. He's based out of the Virginia area, and he is leading as chair our Global Truth Campaign and Tour Committee. So from the board perspective, he's here to speak to what it is that makes him want to be part of this, and to give us some details. We can both share details about what we've got coming up over the course of the next 2-3 years.
Camus, can you hear me? Harry, is he on the air?
He's not on the air. Yeah, he should be calling back in the next
So
few
again,
minutes.
we have a rich program. We're going to go to like 48 minutes. And again, just want to shout out to Harry as station manager and Paul Bass at New Haven Independent for kind of making this vehicle available to us. And everything will be on iTunes and SoundCloud, and the link people can listen to forever. And so, Enola, tell us why we're here.
Well, we're here. It's interesting. You sent me a wonderful reminder this morning about what happened in 1920 on this day. The United Negro Improvement Association, founded by Marcus Garvey, gathered hundreds of, 25 to 50,000 people in Harlem for the whole month of August.
Yes.
And it was bringing the diaspora together. That's one of the things that Garvey wanted very much to do and tried very hard to do. It was ultimately defeated in his quest. But he was driven by a desire, a profound love for Black people, I believe, and also a desire to bring us back together.
Yes.
A desire, most importantly, to help free us from mental slavery. He's the one who said, and who got Bob Marley to repeat, that we've got to emancipate ourselves from mental slavery, because whilst others might free the body, none but ourselves can free our mind.
Yes.
And that is actually the work that we at Community Healing Network have been undertaking, building upon for the last 12 years. Garvey wasn't the only one who said this. Carter G. Woodson talked about it in terms of the miseducation of the Negro. Martin Luther King talked about it in terms of his call for a movement for psychological freedom within the Black community. Stephen Biko talked about it when he said that the most potent weapon in the mind of in the hand of the oppressor is the mind of the oppressed. And so when we look around and wonder in 2018 why things seem to be going backwards. I would suggest that it's because we have not come as far as we thought we had. And the reason that we have not come as far as we thought we had is because we've not dealt with that issue of emotional emancipation. And by that, we mean freedom from the lies of white superiority and Black inferiority, the sort of toxic ideas that underwrite anti-Black racism. The idea that there's a hierarchy of humanity and that white people are at the top and Black people are at the bottom. And sometimes we're not even in the circle of humanity at all. And so our view 12 years ago, and it continues to be so today, is that unless we deal with that issue, deal with those toxic lies, getting them out of our own heads, first of all, and then out of the culture generally, the global culture we mean, we will continue to have a situation where black lives are devalued where it's dangerous to do virtually anything, everything while being
indeed
Black.
And Camus, good morning. How are you doing? Can you hear us okay?
Good morning. Yes.
Good morning.
Kamal, it's Kamal.
Kamal, rather. How are you doing? Apologize for mutilating your first name. It starts with a K, right? Kamal.
Pardon me?
Your first name starts
with a K.
All right, so I got 1/5 of it correct or whatever. And Eric Ray is with us also, and I asked Eric to join us because he's involved with really liberating people and providing freedom for them, and from a coaching leadership standpoint, and he has a unique take. So I want him to join us. And for the Tom Ficklin Show, which you're listening to, and we're on every Monday at 10 a.m. I'm going to have a co-host from time to time to kind of just share the wealth, because there's so much mental wealth and mental capital that we all have to share. Kamal, kind of tell us about your involvement again.
Well, yes, good morning. I am a new board member with the Community Healing Network, and my interest in the work and the mission of Community Healing Network really is almost lifelong. I as a teenager, I grew up in the 60s and 70s. I had a keen interest in the happenings of those times, and to a great extent, one of the most powerful things that came out of that period was a strong focus on the identity of Black people, of African people. And I've carried that with me all my life. I changed my name. It's not my birth name. I changed my name to an African name when I was 19 years old. Did that legally, and all of my children have African names. They've been to Afrocentric schools. They're all grown now. They're all very successful, doing very well. And while I entered my professional life, working with people from all over the world, actually, I always maintained a foundation within myself such that I felt that I was representing African people with anybody I engaged with from the far-flung corners of the world, as well as with my brothers and sisters and even European Americans here. So having that foundation and that base was just always important to me. And I learned about the work of Community Healing Network.
So Enola recruited you and roped you in, huh?
Oh, well, she didn't have to. Once I heard about it, I stepped forward.
You stepped forward. Okay, I like that. I like that.
It's so important. But that's a little of my background and why I'm so aligned and such a tremendous supporter of the work of Community Healing Network and this.
Perfect. Where are you calling in from?
Pardon me?
What part of the country do we have the pleasure of speaking to you?
Well, right at present, I'm actually in Niagara Falls right now.
All right.
Just doing a little family tour with some of my grandchildren.
Good. And so,
but he's usually in Virginia, right?
Usually in Virginia. All right.
But I live in Virginia.
Okay.
Yes,
and when you think of Niagara Falls, my mind goes to the Niagara movement and the predecessor of the NAACP. So there's just so much history wherever we look if we think from a historical standpoint. And so,
yes,
Kamal and Enola, tell us about, because with radio, people come and go, they come in and out. Something's happening, starting in September in various cities. And
Right, so something's been happening for the last 12 years.
Okay.
We know that we started here in 2006, Community Healing Network. Our goal then was to build a global grassroots movement for the emotional emancipation of Black people, really to help us heal from and end the trauma of 600 years of anti-Black racism. I mean, this stuff continues. It has had a profound effect on us, and it really, the fact that we have survived speaks to our incredible power, psychological, emotional, etc. But the problem is that it has taken its toll.
Yes.
And so for us, complete freedom means emotional emancipation, as Garvey said, as King said, as Carter G. Woodson said. So we have to complete the journey to freedom, but we can only do that if we free ourselves from mental enslavement. So for the last 12 years, we've been building this movement, putting together things like community healing days to put time for healing on the international agenda, time for healing for Black people, creating a really exciting model called emotional emancipation circles, self-help support groups through which we come together to try to really understand.
One in the UK taking place either now
taking place right now. Dr. Grills, who's been our leader from the standpoint of making sure that this effort is psychologically sound, evidence-informed, and culturally grounded. She's taken this thing to Cuba, to Johannesburg, to Ghana, to the United Kingdom, a lot of cities in the United Kingdom, going to Jamaica, going to Toronto. So our purpose from the very beginning was to kind of have a deadline. We wanted to audaciously set a deadline, and we picked 2019. The goal was to engage a critical mass of Black people in the movement on the journey toward emotional emancipation by 2019, so that we would have a clearer, more perfect vision of ourselves by the year 2020. We wanted to be audacious because we don't think that we should be, kind of assuming that Black people should suffer forever.
Sure.
That's ridiculous.
Sure.
As a Black mother, I am interested in making sure
right.
that there's an end date for this situation that we're in.
So tell me about this courageous effort that's going to start in September.
So it's going to actually start in October.
In October, I'm sorry.
Because we want to give New Haven's parents more time to sort of get parents and teachers more time to get back into the school system and get their year started. But basically, we're trying to bring together parents and teachers and people who are responsible for the well-being of Black children together for a retreat. It's called Breathe, Baby, Breathe. We want to invite people to take the time to rest, to take the time to heal, to share with them the emotional emancipation circles experience that we have been developing, which people have described, including Eric at one point, as transformative.
Yes. That's why we have him here.
And so
he didn't have his beard before his beard is transformed.
The dates are, just to be sure, the 13th and the 14th of October, a Saturday and a Sunday. We're asking people to come out. We will be have refreshments and breakfast and lunch. We will take good care of you. And we will make sure that you leave there with some really strong skills for emotional wellness that you can use to reduce your racial stress, and also to teach our children. Because ultimately what we're trying to do is to equip Black adults responsible for Black children to help our Black children defy the lie of Black inferiority and embrace the truth of Black humanity. Once we do that, we sincerely believe that we will be completely free and our children will be able to reach their fullest potential. We'll be able to move beyond surviving to flourishing.
So
we don't want to accept surviving as the standard for our
thriving.
living.
Absolutely. So in October, if folks want to get involved or get more information,
communityhealingnet.org.
Okay. And do you want to give any email address or?
info@communityhealingnet.org.
All right.
Yeah. If you go to the website, you'll have contact information.
And it's something. But correct me if I'm wrong. But you're not just going to. You're going to start in New Haven, but you're not stopping there.
Right. New Haven is our birthplace, and so we wanted to launch from here. From here, we go to Los Angeles. We'd be going also to Portland. We've got a developing list. Some people are calling, to ask us to stop in their city. And when we go to the city, we'll be bringing this retreat. We'll be having meetings with leaders of community-based organizations to try to give them a different perspective about how it is that we can help Black children. Unless we free our children of these lies, our efforts with them are minimal. I mean, we're really not going to be
Indeed.
able to get at the root cause. And so we're really asking everyone to get on this bandwagon, taking in effect a kind of an above the ground railroad approach.
Yes, indeed.
We're going to be going to, we're stopping in Richmond, Virginia, the capital of the Confederacy, in August of 2019. August of 2019, you know, is the 400th anniversary of the first recorded forced arrival of Africans in the United States. And there are going to be a lot of celebrations there, commemorating, observing, recognizing that 400 years of enslavement. For us, this means, for us, it's a question of like, you know, 400 years is enough. 400 years of living under these lies is more than enough. And so we want to go to Richmond with a goal to say, it stops here. It stops here. And we're issuing a call to the African Union and to the diaspora to put this issue of emotional emancipation, of freedom from the lies, at the top of our global African agenda.
Indeed.
And from there, we go to Ghana, to West Africa.
And did I hear you say Cuba also is on the list?
Cuba's on the list. Jamaica's on the list.
And the reason I say that, I mean, I love my show. If I don't love my show, no one else is going to love it, right? But I love this particular show and the fact that, yes, it's locally based, but we're global in terms of our outreach in this technology. So if someone, and I'm going to be sharing, I know all of you are going to be sharing this link widely with folks, but if you're in those cities and go to the website, you know, just for people to reach out, commit to helping you out, support, whatever the case might be, this is a chance to really kind of embrace it and make it a movement. Eric, good morning. I'm not ignoring you. Again, you're going to be back many times, but give us a little soundbite about why you're so glad to be here. Yeah. That's putting words in your mouth, I know, but nonetheless.
Well, I am glad to be here, and thank you, Tom. And I think it's a perfect segue as well, because you mentioned Cuba, and for me, you know, the part of what my journey has been to this sort of integration of being what it's like to be Afro-Latino, and sort of walking in the world, you know, sort of presenting as a black man, but also having this heritage, you know, being born to this family, that was, you know, that looked a little bit different than I did.
Yes, and you guys got to Cuba because you came from someplace else even before that.
That's what it is. So my family's from Puerto Rico.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah. The same thing.
But same
thing,
idea.
Yeah.
Where it's
the motherland.
this sort of integration and trying to figure out my way.
And I'm from Panama.
Yeah, that's right.
West Indian parents, Afro-Latina of a sort. Because, but as West Indians, we're never really completely integrated into the Latino mix. But you know, I do speak Spanish, and that is part of my heritage.
Yeah.
And that's why I love this show so much. Kamal?
Yes.
Please, did Enola or Eric say anything to provoke you or stimulate you or anger you or cause you to want to kind of elaborate upon?
Well, you know, I think I really appreciated Enola's comments. The tour is our premier event, premier activity over the next couple of years for sure. And that is where we're going to be focusing. As I mentioned earlier, I live in Virginia. I live near Richmond, and I'm also part of kind of the organizing team. We call ourselves the conductors in Richmond, who are organizing that very important leg of the tour.
Good.
The Fort Comfort there in Virginia, very near Richmond, is literally the place where the first Africans landed on this particular continent, and or at least in what we now call the United States. And so we are calling on all corners of our community there in Richmond to come and really honor and commemorate that particular landing. And we are so proud to be the Richmond group is so proud to be to have that honor of being the branch of Community Healing Network that is going to actually be in that particular location.
Tremendous.
So we love that this is going to be a global commemoration, but we really feel we've got just such a special role to play, and we're looking to really honor that event and honor our people as a part of that.
You know, it's interesting. The reason that Virginia is so important is because in the United States, it's really the birthplace of the lies of white superiority and black inferiority. Thomas Jefferson, the Notes on the State of Virginia, declares himself an expert on the inferiority of the Negro. Think about that for a minute. In any event, it is in Virginia, as Judge Higginbotham tells us in his fine work, which outlines what he calls the precepts of white superiority and black inferiority. It's in Virginia that notion really gets planted and nurtured and developed, and then gets exported to the rest of the United States and then the rest of the world. So for us, and what I've said to my brothers and sisters is, we go back to Virginia to, in effect, reverse course. We go back to Virginia to make a break with those lies, a psychic spiritual break with the lies, and to declare that we will be independent of those lies, that we will free ourselves, and most importantly, free our children of those lies in order for us to be able to move forward.
Again, you're listening to the Tom Ficklin Show, and it's really the pleasure to have Enola aired with us, and Eric Ray, and Kamal
Kukwana, respectful John.
What was your slave name? What was your slave name?
It's not important.
It's not important.
It's not
okay.
important.
Not important. Okay. All right.
I've got one name.
One name.
Thank you, Kamal.
Kamal, thank you. Excuse me for mutilating your name. It's just it's one of those moments. I won't even say senior moments, Enola. I can't claim that anymore. Just
crazy, Tom. Crazy.
Just the crazy Tom moments. And again, Enola, if folks want to find out more about really your liberation strategy, which involves the kind of, as we mentioned, the Community Healing Network, the Emotional Emancipation Circles. You guys have videos. How can folks kind of reach out and support and participate?
Go visit us at communityhealingnet.org. Also on Facebook, where we've got a very active social media presence, getting ever more so. And as the tour kicks off, there'll be a lot more activity there.
Yes.
So the website, communityhealingnet.org, as well as our social media.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward for October to have the turnout and just kind of help.
Absolutely. We really want to have, and space will be limited because we really want to have an opportunity to give the people who come the best care possible. So again, it's Breathe Baby Breathe Retreat for Black adults, people responsible for Black children, to help us all get into the space where we can equip our children to defy the lie of Black inferiority and embrace the truth, which we see as the key to our being able to move forward. Dr. King said in his last speech to the Southern Christian Leadership Conference that any movement for the Negro's freedom that overlooks the necessity of psychological freedom is waiting to be buried. I say this all the time. It is clear, as we're stuck here in this space of, doing anything while Black and being attacked, being in danger, sometimes having our lives at risk. When we ask why is it that we're still in this situation, because we haven't righted the wrong, the original wrong of the hierarchy of humanity, which has us on the top, at the bottom, and has others at the top. And so it's really a matter of reclaiming our space in the circle of humanity, so that people see us and we act as though we belong.
Indeed.
Because we do, of course.
Indeed.
And that was a fundamental injustice and crime against our humanity.
Yes. And Enola, I've had the opportunity and pleasure to attend some of your events, be it the Emotional Emancipation Circles or even your films or lectures, or you guys have been down at the Congressional Black Caucus. But almost all of your events, all of you, not almost, all of your events acknowledge and support the celebration of music, of rhythm, of song. And Eric, you spent some time. This is something I know is near and dear. I won't say an addiction, but it's something that you really feel not only feel strongly about, but manifest in a very tangible way.
Yeah. I'm a hand percussionist, so I play conga, which for me has always been an expression of my cultural heritage. Right, so it's sort of like that connection back specifically to where I'm from, but by way of Africa, right? Because the drum, right? So that for me has always been an important place of refuge. It's the place where I can kind of connect to the things that really matter to me and resonate in a very deep way.
Well, tell us more. I mean, you perform with people. You've been doing it for I don't know really how long, but it looks like you're rather expert at it. I mean, I'm just an amateur, but I enjoy every time I hear you either individually with other drummers or with Tabitha or.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, I've been playing for it's been about 20 years or so since gone by quickly. And yeah, I play with a couple of bands. I play with a drum troupe actually, and we get together and we do parties. We do things, housewarming things, stuff like that, and then I perform more publicly with a woman named Tabisa, who actually I think has been maybe not on your show, Tom,
but on other shows here. Absolutely,
she's been on other shows here.
That's
so,
right.
Yeah,
she's from South Africa.
She's from South Africa. She's a fantastic singer.
Kind of Marion Makeba rendition.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. And she's great. She's a powerhouse. So, so we're looking to to expand and bring that sound and keep going.
Maybe you'll be at our launch.
Not maybe, but definitely.
Definitely. Let's make that deal right here.
All right.
Yeah. So for us, music, the culture, reconnecting with Africa, our portal, our sort of space and portal, which we are going to be tremendously revising and building, because one of the things I want to make clear is that as we do this tour, as we journey across the world, inviting people to join us on the journey toward emotional emancipation, we want to create a space online where we can stay together so that we can continue to do the work. So when you join the journey, you won't then be left by yourself. There will be this global online community where we can continue to work together toward our emotional emancipation. So it is really for us crucial. This is not an event. This is not this is a genuine movement that we see as the last leg of our quest toward complete freedom.
Indeed. Enola, again, you're listening to the. Please, share.
This is Kamal, if I may.
Kamal.
Yeah, I mean, one point I'd like to emphasize is just how important this is for our children and our future. The point of emancipating ourselves, of stepping into ourselves proudly and confidently, is so that we can teach our children, guide our children in helping to create a better world. We've got so many factors influencing our children these days. Issues within our communities, but issues external right now, issues like even artificial intelligence, the internet, all of these influences. Things are moving in the world, and it's really, really past due time for us to step up in a way that is focused on our internal strengths, focused on what we can bring, not thinking about what other people are thinking about it and whether it's going to be all right. We have got so much innovation and creativity with us. And by the way, those are the prime resources that many futurists see for creating a new world.
Say some more about that, Camille.
Absolutely. And we need to bring that, especially cultivated in our children. So as Enola mentioned, we can step into the world, into the circle of humanity, and contribute to not sustaining the current system, but really creating something new. This is not just about, hey, well, let's step up so we can step into the same roles that are out there and perpetuate the same system. We know we need change. The system needs change, and this is about us stepping into who we are as African people, as Africans in America, and stepping on the world stage with other people and shaping something new that's more sustainable, more ecologically in balance with the earth, and something that just treats people better,
Yeah.
So
I think that is so good, Kamal. That is so good. The crazier the world gets around us, the crazier that it gets, and it will get crazier, the more urgent it is that we as African people be grounded and that our children be grounded. And that is essentially what the emotional emancipation circles are about, to really begin to understand who we are, what happened to us, how did we get here, and how do we get back into, as Denzel says in The Great Debaters, back into our righteous minds. And a very big part of that is reconnecting with our African culture, the arts, the philosophy, the way of thinking, the way of being, which is so opposed to, so different from the ways of the West that are so driven by radical individualism, which is killing us. It's killing people. And so this is a struggle, a journey for us to return to ourselves, but it's also a struggle for us to return to ourselves so that as the original human beings, we can return humanity to itself.
I love this idea because even as I'm listening to Kamau and what you just said, I'm struck by the way that Black and brown people have already been so innovative, right? When you think about the musical forms, you think about the way that we've invented entire genres that now run the world. You've got jazz, you've got Afro-Cuban jazz, you've got hip hop, you've got these powerhouses of creativity that come from the Black community. So in that way, we're already there. It's a matter of sort of like reclaiming
the catalytic
the
effect.
narrative.
Absolutely. And Enola, let's give another shout out to Kamel in terms of his board, and also maybe give a shout out to some of your other board members. Let's recognize them.
Yes. Locally, I want to recognize and really thank and applaud Diane Turner, who's recently assumed the chairwomanship of our board. She's away right now. She would be joining us. Jill Snyder, who's been with CHN from the very beginning when we started out at St. Luke's Episcopal Church on Whaley Avenue. Let's see, locally.
Or just begin. This is a global show.
Eric Clemens.
This is a global show.
Eric Clemens over at CONCAT has been a tremendous supporter of ours and is also a member of our board. Natalie Roche, a doctor. She's in Newark, New Jersey. Sheila Warren is out in Portland, Oregon.
Indeed.
Wisdom Powell Brown, who is the new head of the Yukon Health Equity Center. She came last year from South Carolina or North Carolina. She's on our board. Lori Jackson is on our board. She comes to us from corporate life, ExxonMobil. Very wonderful to have her from sort of an economics money point of view. Those are some of the members of the board. Kamau, can you help me? If I've missed anyone, I apologize.
I think you got it.
Margot Fugate, who's recently come into the New Haven community. She's a physician, a psychiatrist, coming from New York. I'll keep thinking, and I'll.
But I'm so glad for you to share that, because again, I love the show for people to know that yes, we love New Haven, but we also love the world. We also love our people wherever we might be located. So.
Al Gentry, who was our former chair of our board, he's based in D.C. He's a real estate developer. And so we've got people from a lot of different perspectives, all brought together by this idea that it is well past time for us to do the work of freeing ourselves and our children from this notion that we are inferior people.
Indeed. And again, if people want to get more involved or support or nurture or just say a prayer or affirm or even be present or even donate.
We'd be very grateful. CommunityHealingNet.org is our website, and we're on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter.
Indeed. We have about maybe 7 to 9 minutes. And I try to take a little pause and deep breath. And again, the theme for October is breathe.
Breathe, baby.
So I'm trying to
remember burn, baby.
I'm trying to breathe, baby.
James Baldwin says that to live in America as a Black person, to live in the world as a Black person, is to be in a state of rage.
Yes.
Rage is not good for you.
Yes.
Rage is not good for you because it hurts you physically. It undermines your ability to live and enjoy and flourish in the world. It also makes it very difficult for you to strategize and think about how you get out of your situation. And so for us, bringing ourselves to spaces where we can breathe and center ourselves and learn emotional wellness skills that can, as we leave those spaces, continue to help us do that.
Your psychic armor,
really psychic armor for ourselves and for our children is extraordinarily important. And a new understanding of our place in the world. The truth of the matter is that we're not in this situation by accident. It is by design. Black people everywhere we are, the United Nations, this is the International Decade for People of African Descent. Not much talked about, but the reality is the UN has said everywhere Black people are in the world, we are in this below, less than situation, not by design, not by accident, all by design, to exploit the labor and the resources and the genius of African people and to do the same with the African continent for the enrichment of the West.
Yes, yes.
Now, how do we right that? How do we understand what that has done to us emotionally, and how do we correct it? It is entirely possible. The work that we've been doing with Emotional Emancipation Circles shows very clearly the transformative impact that being in a circle can have on people.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there are a group of veterans in St. Louis who I've talked to on the phone who talked to me about how a whole year, they spent a whole year going through the materials and the transformative effect that it had on their lives. And now they're ready
Many of them
to
had
go
the
out.
PTSD. Or,
PTSD, indeed they did.
Mm-hmm.
And now they can go out and want very much to go out to share this particular healing experience with young Black people.
Well, it's like reflective of ancient wisdom, right?
Yes.
People have been circling up for millennia,
Mm-hmm.
right? And it's a powerful thing because everybody's on that same footing. Everyone can see everybody. Everybody's together, and it's truly like a sort of visual of community. Even if you look at that, people circled up.
And that's where the healing is.
Yeah.
That's one of our sisters in Baltimore said, our circle, this is our medicine.
Yes.
Our coming together, our being together, our staying together, our really understanding what happened to us, and now how we can re-empower ourselves. That's our medicine.
And I
we
know
need it.
I'm trying to speed us along because this is whenever I talk to you, Enola,
Sorry.
I'm trying to give you a compliment. You make my mind buzz for another two days, even after I've my eyes are not on you. But at the Community Healing Network, your website, you have a PDF download of healing practices and exercises. You have a kit.
Oh yes, it's a community healing. It's a sort of a healing in the face of culture trauma. We felt obliged to provide this as the traumas kept coming and as the traumas keep coming. And so you can go to our website, communityhealingnet.org, and download the self-care, community care toolkit. Self-care is much in the news these days.
Indeed.
Our view is self-care coupled with community care is what African people need and what the world needs, really.
Again, we're kind of winding up any kind of, but for this crew, when I say last words, that could be a 3 or 4 minute response, which is fine.
I'll let Kamal go.
Kamal, go for it,
well,
man.
I've got one. I'd like to close out with a quote from Martin Luther King. One of his famous quotes is, "If the Negro is to be free, he must move down into the inner resources of his own soul and sign with a pen and ink of self-assertive manhood and womanhood his own Emancipation Proclamation." And that speaks directly to the work of Community Healing Network and what we want to do on this tour. We want to challenge African people, wherever they are, to step forward. Yes, we have been wounded. Yes, we have pains. Let's talk about them together, but even more so, let's talk about how we can move forward together, bringing our best to what we do. So I'll just stop there, and that's what this work is about.
Tremendous.
Thanks, Jamal. That's beautiful. Beautiful. I'll do James Baldwin. James Baldwin says that people are trapped in history and history is trapped in us, to which I say we are escaping. It's over. It's not going to continue this way. Our children need to know that this is coming to an end.
Well, so I'm not swift enough to have a quote off the top of my head
So,
right now.
how about an Eric Ray quote? Eric Ray quote is good for me.
We'll go with Eric Ray quote. Much of the work that I do with individuals is around reclaiming narrative, and I think this is a perfect example of doing this on a larger scale. And it's so incredibly important. It's not to dismiss or excuse the sort of systemic challenges that we're dealing with, and certainly we'll continue to work towards dismantling that. But as we do that, it's important that I think we steel ourselves against what is here and is going to continue to come unless we take care of it.
And unless we do this work, as King said, we're going to be stuck.
Yeah, for sure.
We need to do this to strengthen ourselves, arm ourselves, build up our muscles in order to be grounded so that we can deal with the attacks that will be coming.
Enola, as we wind down, share with our audience there was a certain lady, Maya, somebody that committed to
Maya
being involved
Angelou,
with
yeah.
you from the beginning.
We're very grateful.
And she had. Can you just imagine the number of people that asked for her that posed a question for her time, that wanted her to kind of lend something, but for her to lend her name, her brand, her spirit. You had an event. Yeah, I want people. You've referenced the 12 years. If you could just kind of wind down on that retrospective.
So
her
thanks
involvement.
to Janice Jones. I met her about 13 or 14 years ago this month on vacation, and shared with her what we were doing. And she said, I think I have a friend who might be really interested in this. The friend turned out to be Maya Angelou. And, at first she's like, well, yeah, sure. But she, she actually didn't know her. And we actually, Dr. Angelou invited us, several members of the board, to have lunch with her at her Harlem home. And we asked her if she would do this fundraiser for us, which she subsequently did at the Riverside Church. It was huge. It was wonderful. And it was her introduction of Community Healing Network to the world. And we asked her if she would do it, and she said, yes, but you're going to have to pay me. Because she said, people don't appreciate anything that they don't pay for, anything that's free. Well, it turned out that it was $75 that she asked of us. And we will be eternally grateful to her for making that introduction, and also for issuing the call for people to wear sky blue, particularly during Community Healing Days, but sky blue is our color. Because we're focused, and she talked about in her call to wear sky blue, are showing our collective determination to turn the pain of the blues into the sky blue of unlimited possibility. She issued that call for us, and that continues to be a clarion call for us.
Yes.
And so we're very, very grateful to her. And, we kind of soar on her ongoing support.
Indeed. Just to kind of lift up that.
Thanks for the opportunity.
That seed planting she infused in you guys, and her receptivity. I mean, it was amazing. Can you imagine the thing that
she said, "Thank you for your dream."
See,
thank you for your dream.
And for her to say that people know about her life and all of her accomplishments and trials and struggles, but to see this to be personally important to her, I hear you saying that's profound. Yeah, that's profound. I say last words. We have the typical 30-second, 60-second last
Tom,
word.
we have a question from Facebook.
Okay.
From Todd C. Forster. Does the Healing Network have someone who can present to the young men of the Gang of Dads from
absolutely
13 to 17-year-old? Pastor
Todd, absolutely. Reach out on Facebook. We'll be there in a heartbeat.
Excellent. And Harry, thanks for that. We haven't taken a lot of calls or comments, but I'm glad that Pastor Todd kind of reached out, and I'll try to encourage that more. Excellent. Now we have 10 seconds for closing your last comment.
I'll just say I'm happy to be here with the both of you. I thank you. It's been a great conversation, and I look forward to continue to collaborate with the both of you.
And you'll be back too.
Be a part of this as well.
Say that again, come on. Say your closing comment again, if you would. Are you still there? You might have got disconnected.
Okay.
Enola?
So it's not always going to be like this. That's what I want to tell our children. We know what's wrong, and we're fixing it.
Amen to that. Again, you're listening to the Tom Ficklin Show. Thank you to all of you. Thanks to Harry. Thanks to Paul Bass for his vision. And thanks to just those of you that are listening in and kind of manifest your vision. Reach out to the Community Healing Network. You may not agree with everything they're doing, but I'm certain I'll publicly declare in terms of my declaration of truth that there's something there for you if you kind of check them out. That not only for you, but for you to disseminate to your family and your friends and your network. We can really build this communal network like never before in terms of innovation and not necessarily disruption, but creativity. Thanks everybody.
Tom.
Talk to you soon.
Baby, you be running in my mind, read it. When you walking by me, I just wanna replay. You taking me over, the way you looking over my shoulder. So baby, come ride with the soldier, nah, nah, nah. I'ma take you down, down, down with me. Gotta love you, nah, 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 with me. Nah, 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 nah. No, you don't wanna start up this loud with me. All of your problems, I'ma baby, you know we be ballin'. Late night, I'm calling. Why is you stalling? But I'm here every time to catch when you falling. Just let me love you. I think you so special to me, special to me. You gonna get in the phone, so try to come let go of me, baby. Girl, I need you now, need you now. You're the only thing I've been thinking about. Girl, I need you now. Stop everything you're doing and come see me now, like oh hey.
Before, don't play. There's something about you make me wanna stay. Cause you could do me so good, make me feel so right. Keep me going and